U.S. President Donald Trump expressed optimism Tuesday that a deal can be reached to address his interest in acquiring Greenland, a territory of NATO member Denmark.
How far are you willing to go to acquire Greenland?
You'll find out.
Trump spoke to reporters at the White House before heading to Davos, Switzerland for meetings at the World Economic Forum Wednesday, including with NATO.
I think that we will work something out where NATO is going to be very happy and where we're going to be very happy. But we need it for security purposes. We need it for national security and even world security.
Earlier, Trump posted an AI image on social media showing him planting a flag on the Arctic island, with members of his administration behind him. Another featured a map in the Oval Office indicating Canada and Greenland were under U.S. control. European leaders took to the stage in Davos, attempting to project the continent's strength, though it was not immediately clear how the European Union will eventually respond. French President Emmanuel Macron said the EU should not bend to the law of the strongest.
We do believe that we need more growth, we need more stability in this world. But we do prefer respect to bullies, we do prefer science to plotism, and we do prefer rule of law to brutality.
Trump has vowed to impose tariffs on countries that stood in his way. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney expressed his disapproval of that approach.
Canada strongly opposes tariffs over Greenland and calls for focused talks to achieve our shared objectives of security and prosperity in the Arctic.
Meanwhile, U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer explained the administration's rationale.
I would say that that is an appropriate use of tariffs. So I have, as you noted, I've gone over the economic rationale for all of this. In the United States, other countries as well, there's a long history of using tools that are at the nexus of economics and national security.
U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick said if the EU were to retaliate, it would likely repeat the pattern that occurred before the two sides agreed on a trade deal last year.
Then we'll be back to a tit for tat, which is how we began, and it will end in a very positive conversation between Donald Trump and Ursula von der Leyen, which is what happened last time. So you can start with a kerfluffle, but in the end, right, the United States and Europe are great allies.
Trump's renewed tariff threats against European allies have revived talk of the Sell America trade that emerged in the aftermath of his sweeping tariffs last April. Wall Street's main indexes ended sharply lower on Tuesday, and U.S. Treasuries were sold off.